Hello, everybody. Lori Blue, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. I'm so excited today. We're going to have an interview with Janina, and she's been one of my clients, and she's going to tell you about her story and how much weight she's lost, as well as what's going well, her mindset changes. There's so much that can go into creating a holistic low carb lifestyle because it's not about dieting. It's about choosing your hard and actually making changes that are hard so that your life can be easier later. And I'm going to go into a bigger live on that subject, and I've created a new reel, so go check it out because it talks about that. And then on Facebook, I have another post that I put out that's a long form post. And come and join me on my private Facebook group. It's the Holistic Low Carb Weight Loss for Women Over 50. Come and hang out because I'm going to post everything there, so it'll be at your fingertips. And this video will also go in there so that you can have it up to date. But thank you for joining me. I'm so excited. There's Janina. Let's see. You can request to join. There we go. Yay! I had trouble with that. So I figured Instagram is going to be the best place to do this interview. Can't wait for you to come on in. Hopefully, maybe you need to request again. I'm not sure. There you are. Hello, Janina. So excited. So, Janina has been one of my clients, and she has been on fire. So motivated because, you can't do this if you're not motivated. And I can't help you if you're not motivated. And if you come up and if you show up weekly, I will show up weekly for you. Did I ever skip a call?
Never.
Never. And I always reschedule it too. And I'll work on your schedule all the time. And so you got the results because you showed up.
Mm-hmm.
You showed up and you did the work and you did the mindset. And so tell me a little bit about why you wanted to lose the weight. And let's start there. And then and then also another question I'm going to ask you after that. Well, go ahead. Why don't you address that? Let's see where that goes, and then we'll see what the questions come in.
Yeah. So the biggest reason I started a few years ago, I had, wanted to lose the weight as well. I was 230 pounds, and so did it on my own with, calorie counting and going to the gym like crazy. And I lost 60 pounds doing that. But then, of course, COVID hit and I wasn't working as much. I was working essentially more part-time because I was still an essential worker. But with that, I was home a lot more. So it meant I was bored. And so when I'm bored, I tend to eat and I snack. And, usually like my weekends when I was doing that were my cheat days. So I could kind of maintain my weight. But because I wasn't working as much, my cheat days ended up being almost every day. And so the
Oh,
snacking and eating badly kind of just kept creeping up on me. And unfortunately, I ended up gaining all the weight back and got back up to 230
so how
pounds.
much
And
weight did you lose and how much did you gain at that time with low calorie counting and such?
yeah, so when I did that, I think within a year, maybe year and a half, I lost 60 pounds doing the calorie counting, 1200 calorie diet with exercise, lost 60 pounds. But I think it only took about maybe 5, 6 months, less than a year of being on COVID stuff to
Oh,
gain it all back,
so
unfortunately.
frustrating. That I
Yeah.
remember that being the most frustrating thing. I'd be on all the diets,
Mm-hmm.
and for my whole life, I would lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, and just got
Mm-hmm.
to the point where if anybody said, "Oh, you look good," I'm like, "Don't, no, I don't," because I'll be gaining the weight back, and then I'm going
Yeah.
to look bad. So I never
Yeah.
could accept a compliment because I'm like, I know I'm not going to look good, when I gain that weight back. And so for
Yeah.
me, that was always the most debilitating feeling was
Uh-huh.
that frustration.
Yeah.
And so, but you started keto, you started low carb,
Mm-hmm.
and there was another reason why you started actually focusing on getting the weight down. What was the reason you actually decided to try low carb keto this time around?
Yeah. when I was kind of doing like you, trying all these different types of diets, keto was one of the things that I tried, but I was doing more of what I now know is more of a dirty keto. So not really focusing on the holistic part of it, but just kind of doing, okay, getting in my fats, that kind of thing, and protein, no carbs. But, and it didn't really work that well for me. If anything, I had a lot of stomach aches, but of course now I know it was because I wasn't doing the right type of keto. And so that's why I joined. I think it was a some keto app. I can't remember what it's called now, but a keto app, and that's what got me in touch with you because I thought, okay, if I'm going to try keto again, I need to, I think, be with somebody who can kind of guide me a little bit better, and I want to see if this works because I know other people that have been on keto and they were super successful at it. So I couldn't figure out why I wasn't successful, and so now I know the key was to have somebody with me to coach me.
Right, right. And so how much weight have you lost since we
Hmm.
started working together?
Yeah, so since we started working together, I'm down 56 pounds. So and
And we stopped working together a month ago, and you're
about a
still
month ago,
down 56
my
pounds.
weight has not changed at all. Everyone keeps asking me or telling me I'm looking great, and oh my God, are you losing any more weight? And I'm like, I'm maintaining my weight, and I've not lost anything, but I've also not gained a pound.
Right. And
And
so you're kind of like on a diet break. You're
yeah,
taking a break. You've got great momentum.
yeah,
You actually earn maintenance now. And what's a good thing about maintenance is you get to just set your weight point. You know, you're
yeah,
just setting it, you're getting comfortable with it, you're letting your body hormonally balance. That is such the biggest thing. I've noticed that over the years that when I would take that little bit of a break and just keep doing what I'm doing, then all of a sudden your body just gets ready to release more weight.
yeah.
And so sometimes it can come in stages like that. And so you're not done. You're still on this
No,
weight. You know, this is not necessarily a weight loss
yeah,
journey, but a lifestyle journey. And one of the things I remember you told me about when you started working with me was that it wasn't just about the weight, but there
right.
was another reason. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I mean, I know big reason for me was my stepmom, who unfortunately has passed away since we started working together, but she was had just been recently diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, and she's gone back and forth with having it, being in remission, having it, and that was a huge concern. Even though I know we weren't related by blood, but I was and I think we all are surrounded by this word. We all know somebody in our family, friends, whatever, that has been affected by cancer. And it
Yeah.
was just so scary for me. And I just, so it's about, it was about being healthy for me
Hmm.
and making my body happy too. Not necessarily just because of the weight, but just everything, cleaning out any kind of bad stuff. So that way that cancer doesn't hit me.
Yeah. And so what do you feel you've accomplished overall, not just the weight loss?
Yeah, I think my body is much more happier. So, I mean, as I am
That's
too.
amazing. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, again, also um, when we met, I was on Zoloft, so I mean, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression too. And as we continued to work together, I think after about working together for a year, if not a little bit more than that,
It
I
was
was
a
like,
year
okay,
and a
I'm
half, year
year
and
and
a
a
half
half.
at least. Yeah.
I think I decided, I don't need to be on this Zoloft. I feel pretty good with where I'm at mentally, everything that's going on. So it's helped me mentally as well. Getting off all the medications, getting off birth control. That was a huge weight loss block for me that we worked through. So yeah, it's helped me in way more ways than just the weight than I ever thought it
Yeah. And
would.
would you think you would have gone off of those without support? Like I
Oh,
gave you a
I.
lot of
Mm-hmm,
accountability. I
mm-hmm,
mentioned, maybe this can happen and that can happen. Do you
mm-hmm.
think you'd have got off those medications if you didn't have the guidance that you got from me?
No, not
Yeah.
at all. I mean, I was
Yeah.
on Zoloft for 5, 6, maybe
And
even
that's
7 years. A
hard to get
long
off of those.
time.
I'm so proud
It
of
was
you. That is such an
scary. It was,
accomplishment.
yeah,
More so than the weight loss
yeah.
overall, but the combination, because a lot of this is the gut work. This is all diet is not just weight loss. You actually have to get healthy to lose the weight, and that's why it can come into stages. And so all along, I'm looking for the patterns and looking for seeing what we can do to correct in your body. And not only did you get off of the medications, but you actually are balancing your thyroid. So you reset your metabolism and balanced your thyroid. And I remember not too long ago, you mentioned something about seeing, people with allergies. And what were you
Yeah.
thinking?
I mean, I felt bad for them because they were in my office sneezing, coughing, sniffling, like just
Hmm.
miserable. I'm like, I'm not having any allergy issues. What is going on? But I know it's
You're
because my
right. I
body doesn't
remember
have
a
the
few months, yeah,
inflammation.
a few months back. I don't even know if I knew you had
Hmm.
allergies or asthma, but you said, I don't even have asthma anymore. And I'm like, well,
Hmm.
that's pretty cool. So what are all the things that you don't have anymore? Like, what did you accomplish besides the weight loss? What are all the successes? Did you ever write them down?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely journaled them. So again, yeah, getting off those medications, feeling comfortable being off my birth control, um, and uh, um, I mean, the biggest motivation is during the time that we were working together, I got engaged. So I know, I remember our
Yay!
phone call, me telling you, okay, I've got another motivation now. Um, and that's in 12 days. So I'm super stoked. And my biggest win is my dress that I found that I bought. You told me to buy in a size down than I thought that the store thought I needed. So that's what I did. And when it finally came in and I fit into it, it was great. And just a few weeks ago, I got it altered, and she had to take it in 2 more inches.
Oh my
So I mean,
gosh, it's so cool.
I never thought that, I thought I'd be one of those horror stories where I tried on my dress after a couple months and
No,
oh
I
my God,
know.
and I
I
don't fit
remember
into it.
telling you, I said, you're going to be taking that dress in, so get it smaller.
Hmm.
Yep, I
Yeah.
remember that. Do,
Yeah.
do you ever feel like your diet is restricted?
Not at all. Honestly, I would say more in the beginning, yes, because I'm still having those cravings for bread and pasta and all these things that I shouldn't be eating. So yeah, when we started, of course, I felt like, oh gosh, I can't eat that, I can't eat this. But as you kind of I got used to not craving those things or eating those things. So now I don't feel restrictive at all. I mean, my fiance and I went out to dinner last night and I saw a burger on the menu and I ordered the burger and I said I don't want a bun and I'll take a salad on the side. And it was like it's not
Feels
a big
good,
deal for me.
doesn't
It
it? It
feels
feels
good.
good. Food
Yeah.
freedom feels amazing. To be able to get off the food
Yeah.
addictions is so empowering.
Yeah.
And I remember I was writing that in a couple of posts that I just put out. There's a reel that I just put out, and there's another post on Facebook. And it was just kind of like, it's so empowering to be able to find a weight loss and a health solution at the same time so that you don't have to have disease or prediabetes or diabetes. We
Yeah.
don't have to have that. We can choose to go a different direction. We just don't always have the knowledge. And so it's so empowering to be able to get rid of those cravings, to bring back brain energy, to actually turn off the pain of inflammation
Mm-hmm.
and to not be burdened with fatigue. You
Yeah.
have so much more energy in your body, and it just feels so incredible. And so, one of the things I kind of wanted to ask also is a mindset. Like, where are you with mindset with this as a lifestyle? Do you feel like this is something that's just a diet for you, or do you feel like it's a lifestyle? How are you looking at this?
Oh, I definitely see this as a lifestyle. I mean, I'm just enjoying being keto so much that it's not just, okay, it was a diet. I lost the weight that I, wanted to. I mean, of course, we'll continue to work together so I can, once I get through this maintenance phase, then really drop a few more pounds. But no, it's my lifestyle, and I'm so used to, like you said, the foods. I don't feel restricted at all. So it's not a diet for me. It's something that I'm just going to continue to do, especially knowing my body's super happy being on this lifestyle, and I feel great. I always have energy. I'm sleeping way better. And I think, oh, that was one nice thing too is
Yeah, I don't remember about everything because
that,
sometimes I didn't write it all down.
yeah,
It's
that,
been a couple of years.
and something that makes my fiance very happy is I don't snore
Oh my
anymore.
gosh, that's right. There was some sleep apnea in
Yeah.
the snoring. And
Yeah.
you're only, I normally work with women over 50, but you were like 37 when you started,
Hmm.
37, 38.
Yeah.
So oh my gosh, the sleep apnea one is totally huge. And
Yeah.
then, gosh, where was I going with this? That one is so incredible that all what we can do when when we get our food dialed in, personalized and customized to how our bodies work, and actually be able to tune into how we feel. And knowing that you've stopped all those things from happening, that you've gained all the benefits
Yeah.
of not having that much inflammation in your body. Now your body is getting ready for what? What is it you feel like your body is primed and ready to do?
Now I feel like I'm priming my body ready, getting my body ready for a baby. I
Yay,
mean, we're
you're
yeah,
gonna be, your body is so healthy now. You got your thyroid
yeah,
dialed in, all your supplements
yeah,
dialed in. You're getting your
yeah,
body nutrient
yeah.
dense. That I'm so excited about you.
Hmm.
And I don't. I was one of the things I was going to say was I'm so grateful to be able to have worked with you because you were the age that I was when I started having these problems. And I went to a doctor and he totally just laughed at me and said, "Oh, you have PCOS," and told me nothing. And I had no clue that I was insulin resistant, that I had
Hmm.
PCOS, that I was estrogen dominant, or any of that. He just gave me some kind of shot that made me bleed too much because I said I wanted to have another baby and maybe I
Hmm.
was infertile at the time.
Hmm.
And so I was just an up and down roller coaster for the next 2 years, trying all the diets, trying to figure out lose weight, gain weight. Never got healthy,
Yeah,
never felt good. Always
yeah,
had the depression and the brain fog and the fatigue and just feeling miserable. So I lost 20 years of my life. I lost my 30s and my 40s is from what I feel. And
yeah,
I'm so grateful that you don't have to lose your 40s. And that makes me feel so good
yeah.
to know that you have that incredible life ahead of you. And one of the things that you love to do is to go to Disneyland.
Yes.
And I would just want to say I am so excited and proud that you're able to actually pull in this lifestyle, go to
Hmm.
Disneyland and say, I want to eat what I want to eat because
Yeah,
I feel better in my body when I choose the food I ate.
yeah,
And so can you tell me a little bit about like the first year we were working together and you went to Disneyland and then you came back and, tell me a little bit about your story there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first time I went to Disneyland, yeah, I think we were only working together for about a year, maybe a little less than that, and I
Mhm.
was really anxious about falling off this lifestyle, and because the temptations are really great
It's
there. I mean, they
huge.
have
Yeah, it's
so
really
much
hard.
good, especially with the sugar. Oh my God. I mean, all the good food that they have, sugar wise, sweet food they have there. So I was really, really nervous about falling off and coming back gaining like 10 pounds. And, I mean, I had a lot of anxiety. We had a few phone calls trying to talk me through that. And you guided me and said, bring these few snacks. It'll help you get through the day, and then you won't be so tempted. And um, I gave into temptation really only a couple times, but majority of the time I found some great salads. I did like the half rotisserie chicken that you and I talked about. I discovered how amazing a turkey leg is there.
Yeah, the second time around. So now we're on the second journey.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so now, so the first one, it wasn't completely a mindset, your
yeah,
mindset shift hadn't completely come over
right.
yet. You were still working on it. You still had, a little bit of snacks there, but it wasn't 100%. But this year, when you went to
Mhm.
Disneyland, what happened then?
Yeah, I mean, I felt stronger mind wise. Like, I'm not going to give in to any of this stuff. I'm doing so well and I'm on a good path. It's not worth giving all that up for some crappy food for just one or two times or how, a few days that I'm there. Um, so yeah, it was like when my family wanted to go get burgers or something, I'm like, yeah, you guys go get the food that you want. I'm gonna go get the turkey leg at the cart over here. I'll meet you over there. And I had my giant turkey leg, and I even did an OMAD, I think, one day with that turkey
Oh
leg
my
because it was so much
gosh,
food.
really? Wow.
It was so much food, and it got me through the whole day, and I felt amazing the rest of the time because I was sticking with the lifestyle and I had the energy to get through it while, and my feet didn't hurt as much because sometimes we
Oh,
go to
yeah. So
Disneyland and
there's
our
another
feet,
one. I didn't even think about that. So you
yeah,
have less pain in the bottom of your feet and you could
mm-hmm,
stand on your feet all day.
all day.
Super
And
cool.
yeah, I think that was the first time I went and I didn't have so much pain in my
Yeah,
feet
I
at the
don't
end of the trip.
think
It
you
was
brought that
fine.
up. That's interesting. Yeah. See, I
Hmm.
didn't catch that. Very cool. Because I could stand on my feet all day. I always wonder why
Yeah.
people need to sit down. And I'm like, I'm just going to stand here and wait for people. Like, why do you need to sit? Like
Yeah.
we were taking a hike, we were taking a break on a hike, and I'm like, why don't we just keep going? Why do we have to stop to eat? It's like,
Right.
let's just keep
Yeah.
hiking. Anyways, I find it kind of funny because I like to be on my feet and I
Mhm.
don't feel any pain. So I
Yeah.
kind of forget that other people have pain on the bottom of their feet and they can't stand as
Yeah.
long. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting. And so you told me something when you got home that weekend, after that weekend, and what do you remember happening?
Um,
I remember if you don't.
I don't remember.
You got into your skinny jeans. You were
Oh,
able to
yeah.
get into a smaller pair of pants
Yes. Oh, right. Yep.
right after a trip to
Yeah.
Disneyland.
I
Yeah.
that was a big thing because I mean when I started all this I think I was a size 12, 14 actually in jeans. And yeah, and that was a size 8 jean and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm back from a trip to Disneyland and I can actually fit in a size 8 pant."
Now you can also probably wear those clothes in your closet you've been hanging on to
Mhm.
and feeling good.
Yeah.
Now you need to do a clothes audit and get rid of some of the bigger
Oh
clothes.
gosh, I have been. I feel like I'm doing it all the time now. I'm like, "Okay, these clothes can go. These
So
clothes can
excited.
go."
All right. So you've lost 56 pounds. You're
Mhm.
maintaining it. It's been 30
Yeah.
days. You're not gaining any weight
No.
back. You're not even stressed about
No.
it. You're just living life,
Yeah.
eating the food that makes you feel
Mhm.
good. And you know that you're not going to be, that you're not set up for any disease and you're not even stressed about it anymore, are you?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I still get sad and it still makes me think because again, every day I hear
Because,
somebody
yeah,
that has
something's
cancer
happening
or
to everybody.
yeah,
Right.
and
Right.
so it just kind of reminds me and humbles me. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
why I'm doing what I'm doing, obviously for the weight, but I just want my body to be happy and healthy,
Yeah.
and I don't want to have to go through any of that, or my family to deal with any of that, me having any
I
diseases.
love it. Yeah, and that's one of the things that's so powerful to me personally is because I lost my dad to diabetes, heart disease, and kidney failure in the end. And it's all because of too much sugar in the diet. And
Yeah.
I lost my sister. She was like 400 pounds and she couldn't diet. She used to say she always found a reason to say she couldn't do that. And so she would just gain weight, lost her job, just stayed. She was basically on state unemployment, whatever,
Yeah.
because she weighed too much and couldn't work and just suffocated in the end. It was
Oh,
just tragic. It was
well,
just so sad
yeah.
that, and she's barely 65, 64
Oh
when this
gosh.
happens. It was
Okay.
before COVID. And it was just such a sad thing. And yet, my brother at one point was walking death and well over 300 pounds, ready to go on
Mhm.
diabetes medication. Doctor told him it's time for insulin. He says, I'm going to try diet. Well, by the time I got a hold of him, I'm like, no, we need to do this. Let's run the
Yeah.
labs. You can't eat any sugar. That isn't going to work. We got to
Right.
take so I took the sugar away from him. We did the food sensitivity test. I showed him what he needed to eat. And he's like, oh, I could eat all these things in the green. And he was so good about it. And
Mhm.
then it was like, yeah, it doesn't even cost that much more. He said, you're just putting your money in a different direction.
Exactly.
And so he relied on me, basically FDN in his back pocket. He texted me as often as he needed to for that mental support and got through it, lost all his weight down to 178 and is keeping it
Wow.
off, still on the lifestyle, reversed all use of medications, no medications needed at all.
Yeah.
And the last one, of course, the hardest one for him was the blood pressure medication. He's a tracker, so he would track everything.
Sure.
He's really good at tracking. And one of the things that I taught him about or mentioned, and I also got him to listen to podcasts. So every time I would listen to a podcast,
Yeah.
that's one of the big resources I have. And I'm sure you remember getting super. I mean, I
Oh.
remember one night we were just
Oh
texting
yeah.
back and
Yeah.
forth because you went to the cardiologist and you was like, what do I
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so tell me about that. How did you feel with the support
Yeah.
and the resources?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's been great, and like you said, the podcast. I mean, I listen to a few now that talk about keto and all of that, and it's always not that I need motivation, but it kind of reinvigorates me. It's like, oh, this is
It
why I'm
helps
doing
you
this. This is
feel that you're on the right path, that there's other people doing the same thing, that this is a safe process. This is helping so many people. There's so much good information out there. And it's coming from cardiologists. It's coming from doctors. It's not scary.
mhm.
It's
Yeah.
actually something that works, that many doctors are actually doing and recommending
Yeah.
for their patients. And so when we hear it from other people and we're noticing all of this, you're able to internalize it and make it's more powerful for you. So you get it. It's kind of like learning a new language. The more you
Mhm.
listen to it, the more it becomes more internalized. And
Yeah.
so I'm always love sharing those this podcast and sharing resources. And that's what I did with my brother, and that's what he needed.
Yeah.
And now he's learned how to do mouth taping, and that was one of the big ones. So if you guys have problems with any kind of even high blood pressure and trouble with breathing, with snoring,
Mhm.
everybody lays on their back, you're going to have mouth is going to pop open and you're going to have some sleep apnea or some snoring. And so one of the things that's a quick, easy trick is just to use mouth taping to support that. And it's huge. And so he researched it, he did it, and he's like, oh my God, this actually works.
That's
And so, because
amazing.
it can cause cardiovascular risk to breathe out of your mouth. And so maybe during the day you're not doing it, but are you doing it at night? So
Right.
that's a huge process to think about as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts that you want to share with the audience about the process that you've been through, the benefits of the lifestyle? What are some thoughts that you have?
Um, I mean, the biggest thing, like you said, having those resources and asking you for those resources have been really eye-opening. I remember listening to the audiobook of Wheat
Oh
Belly, and that was
my gosh, this is the
probably
best
the
one.
most eye-opening book that you and I had talked about. I mean, I know we talked about Secret Life of Fat and all that, and
Oh
that's
my
been
gosh, that's a
amazing
good
as
one too.
well. Especially being a woman, it's if you're a woman doing keto, it's really important to read, I think. But Wheat Belly was so eye-opening, and then the science that he went into with everything was kind of like,
Yeah, I
whoa,
would never
because
eat wheat after I
oh
finished reading that book. No,
my,
I would
yeah,
never go
like
back to the wheat.
when we
Mm-mm.
talked about when you mentioned that book to me, I was having a really hard time, and I had a weight loss block. I wasn't losing anything, and I was just kind of stuck. And then you said, go read that book, just listen to it. And I listened to it, and I think I lost like 10 pounds within
Oh
that
my
month or
gosh.
something. I mean, it was like, yeah, it kind of, again, it reinvigorates you, makes you believe in the process that you're
Yeah,
doing,
there
which
was
is
another really big book that was a big transformational process for you, and it was the iodine crisis.
oh,
Because
yes,
I don't, I'm not a doctor, I don't prescribe. So everything we
yeah,
talk about is health coaching
hmm,
and nutrition, and
yeah,
basically guiding you in the right direction and give you the information so that you can be proactive and empowered to make changes for your body yourself. And so, since I
right,
have all of that knowledge, I give all of that knowledge to my clients. And so, what happened once you got your yeah, the selenium dialed in.
hmm,
You've been on salt because you have to have salt in the diet. You have to stop eating the wheat. You got to bring in the
yeah,
selenium. And then you started iodine drops. What happened?
yeah. And I know that was a big topic of conversation for us because when you mentioned the iodine,
And
I'm
I
like,
always
it's a
mention it
little
more than once. I'm
scary.
always like every month I'm like poking it in there.
Yeah, like remember this, remember what we talked about. Yeah, it was scary to like, is she sure? Should I be doing this iodine thing? And I listened to the iodine crisis, and I'm like, okay, I've got to give it a shot because the science is there, the research is there. I've got to give it a shot, and I did it. And I think a couple weeks after I started it and we did a FaceTime, you're like, oh my God, your face is not as puffy as it usually is. And I noticed that too. And I was looking back at my pictures and I think maybe I lost like maybe a pound or something that week, but it was like, I, I could have told you I lost 5 pounds and you would have believed me because the puffiness in my face just
You
completely went
actually,
away.
that month, I think you lost 7 pounds.
Okay.
That's what I
Yeah.
remember. You
Hmm.
actually dropped like 7 pounds that
Yeah.
first month when you started it. And that's not something you want to do without actually tuning into what's going on in your body for getting the
Hmm.
diet dialed in, getting the right nutrients, making sure that you have salt in the diet. There's so many things. But what you could do to be proactive for yourself, for those people who are listening, is go and download from Audible iodine crisis and
Hmm.
get the information. Now, that's something I help all my clients implement if they want to and support them and give them information. And that's one of my powerful processes is my radical accountability and the fact that I use all of my lifestyle lived experience and all the information and all the books I've read and all
Hmm.
the resources I continuously study. I pass all this information on to you and help you
Yeah.
make your decisions so that you make the right decision for your
Yeah.
body. And so
Yeah.
I didn't tell you to go off the medication for your
No.
depression. That was something you chose to
Hmm.
do, but you worked with your doctor to do all of that.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah, but that
yeah,
was so
I
cool.
felt right with where we were in the coaching process,
Yeah.
that I knew it was just the right time to get off that and I'd be fine. And I've been off of it, gosh, maybe 7, 8 months, maybe even longer than
Oh
that.
my
And
gosh, I
even,
can't. I was just so incredible. I just,
yeah.
when you told me that you'd like, all of a sudden you were just like off of it, I'm like, oh my God, it is so incredible. So
Yeah.
many people have so much trouble, and that's a huge, huge weight loss block for people. Any kind
Hmm.
of medication is a weight loss block, even though it's addressing a symptom that we have in our body. You have to understand that medications don't really solve the underlying root cause. Diet and nutrition do. And even with nutrition, you could not be digesting your food and you wouldn't be absorbing any of your nutrition. I was on like an hour call with the food sensitivity company, just getting more information, and I'm just like writing down in frenzy. I'm like, oh, that's really good. Oh, that's good. Oh my God. Oh my God. And it's like, oh wow, that's so good. Because if you have inflammation in your body and you're eating foods you're sensitive to, this is creating an innate immune dysfunction and total systemic inflammation in your body. And if any pain that's coming from your body is because of inflammation. And if food is one of the biggest ones that is causing this, and that's why low carb is so good to reverse these symptoms and to get the body healthy to lose the weight, is because we take away the foods that are causing the problem. And when we run the food sensitivity test, you can dial it in more specifically, and you don't have to spend as much time guessing, but you get to do it quicker. And so the whole idea with the food sensitivity test is you address the inflammation quickly and reduce the inflammation quickly, so that like in 9 days you can start addressing pain and inflammation in your body, and it can reduce. Because I've had a client that had pain reduced in 9 days.
Wow.
She noticed the bottom of her feet just stopped hurting, and she's like, oh my
Hmm.
God, the bottom of my feet don't hurt anymore.
Yep.
So many things like that. And I'm like, I'll go to yoga and everybody's always saying, oh, this hurts and that hurts. And I'm like, am I doing it wrong? I'm not feeling any
Right. I'm not feeling any
pain.
pain.
you know so it's like, it's so cool to know that we don't have to live with pain. And then the whole process of this too, even though it might feel hard in the beginning, how does it feel now for you? It was hard,
It's,
but what is it
yeah,
now? It's
it's second
easy.
nature. It's
It's
so
easy.
easy. I don't
So,
even
and
think
yet,
about it.
if you just kind of stay stuck in the moment and stressed, and you think, okay, I can't do that, it's too hard.
Yeah.
But then, if that's easy to say, that it's easy to be
Hmm.
stuck there and not do it. I'm not saying that you're not going through as hard and feels hard, but it's easy to stay stuck and
Hmm.
not make a decision to make a change. And that's the subject I'm kind of focused on this week. And yet, when you don't do anything, life gets harder and harder and
Yeah.
harder as you go through. It
Yeah.
never gets
Right.
easier. And so that's what I noticed over the last 8 years that I started a low carb diet. I started the process with HCG. I got
Hmm.
amazing results with it. It was amazing. I got down to 145 pounds. I must have gained all the weight. I gained all the way back to, because I was 185 when I started keto, when I started low carb, and
Yep.
just miserable. And it did not stick. And so it wasn't until the problem is like it could feel hard at the beginning. So I started 8 years ago. It was always hard to kind of start and do something different, but I was doing mine incrementally because I was studying, researching, living it, and not really sure what I was doing. I was just jumping through the hoops and like, oh, that looks like a solution. Oh, I'm going to do that. And so
Yep.
I was experimenting, I was reading, I was
Hmm.
studying. And so when the low carb conference came along, the keto conference came along, I was in it. And when
Yeah.
I was told I shouldn't eat fruit because of my body type, and this is coming from a 10-year brain cancer survivor who's on a keto diet and didn't die from brain cancer, I'm like, I'm following this man's advice. I'm not going to eat any more
Absolutely.
dried fruit. I was eating
Yeah.
goji berries, golden berries,
Yep.
mulberries, everybody,
Hmm.
that's all great paleo food if
Hmm.
you're
Yeah.
healthy. But if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
insulin resistant, it doesn't matter. Any extra insulin you put load on your body can keep you insulin resistant, keep you pre-diabetic. Too much sugar but load on the body in the blood overloads the insulin, and you're just a fat store. You're a fat store, insulin level fat store. You can't burn any body fat.
Yeah.
And then your brain doesn't work. My eyes were wonky. So 20 pounds down that very first month or 2 months, I don't even remember anymore. But as soon as I started keto within the first year, I only lost 20 pounds and then I was stuck. I was stuck. I had to learn more. And so
Yeah.
that was frustrating. But you know what? I felt better than I'd ever felt before.
Yeah.
My brain turned back on, my eyes got better, my hair
Yeah.
started growing back in. I've never lost hair on keto or low carb. My hair is longer, and I was just like, my hair is actually growing longer and I don't feel like cutting it. It's the first time in my life my hair is growing,
Yay.
and I'm 61 years old. And so I think it's incredible because a lot of people think that their hair falls out when they go keto, but the problem is you're not doing it right. You're eating dirty keto, you're cutting back too fat, you do too much intermittent fasting and not enough
Hmm.
protein. And so
Yeah.
on my program, what is it that I always tell you to do?
Yeah. Do that intermittent fasting,
Well,
OMAD.
no, how much protein? Eat your protein.
Um, 30 grams.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
gotta have the protein. Have you ever had hair loss? I don't know if I ever
No,
asked you. Okay,
no,
cool.
yeah. I mean,
It's
if
so
anything, I
cool.
noticed I don't, not as much of it comes out in the shower anymore now that you say that and I'm thinking about
Perfect.
it.
See, we never
Yeah.
even addressed that. And your skin feels and looks amazing.
Amazing. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And no more visceral fat around your face as much as you used to have.
Yep.
Yeah, all of that's so exciting. And so I'm just it's just really exciting to know that we can actually make this choice to get our health back on track. And it's not necessarily, even though I focus on weight loss because that's been my journey,
Yeah.
I not only lost the weight, I also lost the asthma, the depression, the
Yeah.
anxiety. I lost a person I needed to lose to become who I am. You know, I needed to change and grow. And I like who I've become. And then the person I've become as a practitioner, I can help people like you, which makes my heart feel so good to know that you don't have to lose your 40s and now you can have a healthy baby.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for that next stage of your life. It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. If you have any parting words, just let me know or let
No,
the
I mean,
audience know.
I've so enjoyed working with you, and I'm looking forward to, like you said, as the next stage kind of starts happening for me, that we continue to work together. And once I'm through this maintenance phase, and we'll we'll work together, and I'll get down to hopefully your weight, which is so amazing, that you're down 100 pounds. So I'm going to strive to go for that as well with you.
Yeah, and I always like to step on the scale every day, only because I like to
Same.
keep track of what's going on in my body. And so
Yeah.
what happened yesterday, and this was my choice, I had tuna with pickles and bacon, which is
Mm.
perfectly fine, and I enjoyed that. It was really good. I would have preferred to have had some pork rinds. Oh,
Hmm.
that's so good with pork rinds.
Yeah.
But I didn't have it. So I had sunflower oil almond flour crackers.
Okay.
Okay, I had a little bit. I mean, I might have had
Yeah.
one serving, right?
Hmm.
I did gain a pound from that. So that's how sensitive when you eat foods
Yeah.
that's inflammatory because it has the vegetable oils and I'm not used to that type of food system. What that
Yeah.
is gaining inflammatory weight, but I can drop that really quickly. But it's just
Exactly.
interesting to know that when you do want to eat a little carb up, you're going to gain a pound or so, but then your just body will drop it back down again. So it's just an interesting process.
Yeah.
But it's so cool that we can use food as information to our body, turn off the disease causing genes in our body, flip that sugar switch off, and live the best life we can. So now you're aging beautifully and adventurously and having an amazing time.
Yeah, definitely. And I get married in 12
Yeah.
days. Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh. Yeah. And I think the other day you were at a party and you said something about living my best life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, my bachelorette party, it was amazing. And I mean, we were taking a ton of photos because I just felt so good with how I looked. And even my sister commented on one of them. She's like, "Oh my God, you look so skinny." And I'm like, "Oh, keep telling me."
Yeah, right. And okay, I'm going to ask one more question. Do you feel you're going to gain the weight back?
I really don't. I'm not, I mean, I know we've talked about, and it was a little bit of anxiety, but I really don't feel like I am because I'm so into this lifestyle and I believe in it. And again, it's not restrictive for me. So I don't feel like I am. Again, I mean, in the month that we haven't really talked, I haven't gained
I know.
anything back. I've
Oh, and
maintained
that's
it.
what's
I'm
he,
just
and so
keeping up
now
with
you
it.
can feel it. That's one
Hmm.
of the benefits of the best thing that I've noticed is I've gotten down to this weight. I could look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, I look really good. I mean, I'll look in the mirror naked now and I don't even care. And
Same.
I'm like, and I'm like, I look good.
Yes.
I'm like, I could tune some stuff up, and maybe I'll lose a little bit of weight down in the hips area. I don't know exactly what to expect. I mean, I could get more exercise and get more into that too, but I just haven't felt like the need to do it yet. But I just, it feels really good to know that we're not going to gain the weight back. I
Oh,
think that is huge. And so that's one of the things I like to state is this is the permanent weight loss solution. If that's what you want,
yeah.
we don't ever have to gain the weight back because you're basically getting natural weight loss. When your body gets healthy to lose the weight, it doesn't have to come back. It will not boomerang back unless you're going to pull the sugar switch back on and eat a
Sure.
lot of sugar. But you could do that minutely for like a weekend and you could actually flip that back off because you're metabolically active and go back to the lifestyle you live. That's the choice that you can make. And so there could be, and you may not even feel good after eating those foods because I've had so many clients just not eat the foods on a holiday or at a wedding. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel good and I'm never going to eat that again. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I love it when my clients say, I'm never going to eat that crap again because you just feel so much better.
Yeah.
You'll never go back to it. Yeah.
I always, if I mean, I haven't done it recently, but yeah, if I'm eating something that's not keto, I think I even tell you this, the next day I feel like I'm almost hungover. It feels gross and I just feel like, ugh. So it's like, okay, I don't want to feel like that. I'm gonna stay
Oh, I
away.
know. I mean, I've had ice cream addiction my whole life. My whole life.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, forget $5. I
Mhm.
went to the dairy. I bought a gallon of ice cream, and my
Love
brothers
ice
and I
cream.
split that.
Yep.
Okay, so to this day, I just like, oh, I did the keto ice cream for a while, and I'm like, I don't even want any.
Yeah.
I don't even
Yeah.
crave it
Yeah.
at all.
I don't. I get
And,
my
it's
protein
so
for my
cool.
dinner and then I'm
Hmm.
good. Like before we started talking, I had a couple of ground beef patties and I'm like, okay, good the rest of the night. I'm
Right?
done. No sugar, don't need it.
Yeah, I think I had a can of sardines today, which was my choice because I was busy, so I had that.
Hmm.
And then I said perfect aminos with it because that's not quite 30 grams of protein. And then I had the salmon and egg dish, which I only kind of ate a quarter of it. And then I was just super busy and stressed about something. And then I'm like, okay. I just like, and then I had my fiber pudding with just extra nuts and coconut. That's all I
Oh,
wanted. And then I was done. So.
delicious. Yeah. See? See?
And
See?
then you just follow it up with electrolytes and just
Yeah.
drink some tea and
Hmm.
everything's good. And then by the time you get to a certain hour, by the time I get past 4 o'clock, I'm never hungry. If I can make it
Yeah.
to 4 o'clock or if my body thinks I'm hungry, I just need to drink something. I sip a little olive oil and I'm never hungry. What are some tricks
Yeah.
that you might have if you feel like you get hungry?
Oh gosh, the perfect aminos has been kind of a godsend. And like if I'm doing my OMAD or something, and maybe I didn't have enough protein for my middle of the day meal, and I'm a little hungry, I'll do like we've talked about some chicken broth is really good, and that just I'm good after that. I'm not hungry,
Yeah,
but
that's kind
yeah,
of my latest lately. That's been my morning hack.
hmm
And then I'll just like I said, I didn't have enough protein today, so I took 2 servings because I'm building muscle in my arms and I'm not going to give that up.
yeah,
So that's my
yeah,
secret weapon. So ladies who have hung on with us for a while, I have all my clients to get 20 to 25% off on full script, and
hmm
you can get that on full
hmm
script, and that's something I'll help you recommend. So awesome. I'm so excited. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank
And I
you.
hope that everybody who watched, I don't see any questions or anything, but I hope everybody enjoyed this live. And yeah, I want to try to do more of these things like this too, so that people can see what it's like to really change their lifestyle and feel amazing. Aging beautifully and adventurously.
Yeah. And work with you, who's such an amazing coach and changes
Thank
people's
you.
lives
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Yeah, it's my passion and it's my
Yeah.
mission. And God, it just really lights my heart up to know. And I put my whole heart and my whole soul into this.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
feel that.
just thank you. Thank you. All right. I'll see you soon. Bye.
I'll see you soon, Lori.